Hello, everyone. Welcome to Be Inspired. I am so overjoyed about my guest today. We met recently a few months back. This is okay, and I am going to do my best at this. Asia Bribiesca-Hedin. She
Woo!
is CEO of Bridgewell LLC Professional Services. She is a coach. She's been featured on NBC, CBS, Fox, MarketWatch, ABC. She is just a wonderful woman all around. I just absolutely adore her. We've had so much fun kind of getting to know each other. I met her recently at the International Women's Day event at USC. I saw her speaking in a workshop, and I was like, I need to talk to her. She was just absolutely phenomenal. She is, a coach, leadership development, executive coaching, career development, strategic planning. She's an author, right?
Soon to be, soon to, well, yeah, technically the book's written but not published. So yes.
Yes, I'm so excited for that. Just all around incredible woman, change management, diversity and inclusion. Like I've watched several of her classes on leadership, on how confident leaders lead through failure, with strategic content. Like just I really appreciate her message, and through and through, I remember asking her, how do you develop leadership in other people? And she just had an awesome answer. So anyway, USC grad, MBA from Marshall School of Business, and a master's in public administration. She is like just wow factor. So welcome.
Thank you so much. Wow, you make me impressed when I hear you say it that way. But no, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. And yeah, I love talking about all things, leadership, empowerment, strategy. And while, I love talking to all audiences all the time, I definitely have this extra kind of love and calling in my soul to be also talking to women of color, folks who are typically underrepresented at the upper levels of executive leadership in organizations. And it is just, yeah, it's just like it really feeds me. Like, it's funny, I'm never at a loss for words, but as I'm trying to put together like what I get out of that, there's something about seeing our potential come to fruition, right? There's just something very inspiring about that. So anyway, I'm just so excited to be here and be having this conversation.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I absolutely agree with you. It's taking the idea that you want to be able to create something or do something and know that you have other role models to watch. You have people that you can look at and emulate their activity or their actions and know it's a possibility for me too. And so the more that we see examples of success or people that have said, I have a goal and I'm going to do what it takes to be able to get it, it inspires everyone. It
It
really
really does. It really does. And the funny thing is, it's not even if because they're just like you. Because well, I 100% believe representation matters.
yeah.
Right? We want to we can become what we see. At least we think of it that way. Even though we can become anything, even if we can't see it. Right? If we can dream it, we can become it.
Yeah.
And there is something so powerful, yeah, about knowing that it's so much more than just a dream. It is actually a path
Yeah.
that you can choose,
Yeah.
right? So I think for a lot of people, certain accomplishments don't feel like a path, they feel like a dream. And I guess what I want us to go is to actually let them see that that is actually one of the paths, one of the many paths that they get to choose from. So, it's again just exciting to be in that space all day, every day, all the time.
Absolutely. I mean, it must be such an incredible journey to watch people go from an idea to a dream or what that may be, something that they've imagined would be possible, but then helping them bring that to fruition seems like an incredible field to, a journey to be in every single day. So I'm curious, just as you've gone over the years, and I have watched so much of your content and really just been enthralled by it, because there's a lot that I've learned over leadership. But I've been in business for 15 years and it took me a long time to get these pieces. And as you're going through, I'm like, totally resonate with that. Yep, that's really good. That incredible stuff. Just so many nuggets. So I want to talk about this because I've always created Be Inspired because I wanted to be able to inspire people to chase their better life or their dream, whatever that might be. And usually it's for entrepreneurs because I came from medicine. I used to be a physician assistant. I got my PA degree from USC and then decided that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I went a completely different realm. I'm in the financial industry, but I appreciate the wherewithal that it takes to be able to create any type of business and turn it into something that can thrive. And
Yeah.
so it's huge. And whether you're an entrepreneur in any realm, it doesn't matter. So I'm kind of curious, because you're such a leadership expert, what makes someone take on a leadership role that may not have necessarily considered it before? Can you build those qualities in someone if they're not, a born leader, like they say?
Yeah, okay, for one, I actually don't buy into the born leader. I do believe that there are certain qualities that we naturally bring that are among, right, the tool set or set of qualities that make for a powerful leader. So absolutely. And likely every single one of us, everyone listening, reading this, whatever the case is, has one or many of those qualities already a little more fully expressed than some
Mhm.
others. But even before we go there, I actually want to touch on, I have a very deliberate way that I think about leadership. And so I kind of want to start by
Yeah.
level setting that, right? So leadership, at least the way that I introduce it to my clients and the way I hope that everyone listening today can walk away with it and and let it really, soak in, is that a leader is someone who inspires the best from themselves and others toward a common goal.
Mm.
Period. Right? There is no, span of control involved in that. There are no decision rights, there's no budget, there's no title, there's no direct reports. It has nothing to do with that.
Mm.
So when we see that as leaders, our role is to move folks towards a common goal and to stay focused and strategic and deliberate, intentional about making that happen.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, that as that kind of washes over, that we can all see where somewhere in life there's a very good chance we're already that
We're
person.
leading.
We're
Yeah.
already leading in big ways and in small,
Yeah.
right? It might be literally, if you're a stay-at-home parent, and it might just be, maintaining, the chaos from bubbling over to help everyone get out of the door in the morning, right?
Yes.
That requires leadership. It's
Yeah.
because we can't react as though
Yeah.
nothing's on the line, right?
Yeah.
Leadership is about knowing, understanding what's on the line, and then making decisions to distinguish, is my action, my reaction, what I do next going to create value and commitment to what we're trying to do, or is it going to destroy it? And that's all that strategy is about, right? In
Yeah.
general, that's what strategy is. Is this next move going to move me closer to what I want, or actually take me farther away?
Right.
And we need to make those decisions every day. So, from where I'm sitting, we're all leaders all the time. And when we really start to embrace that, we see how much of an impact we can have no matter what environment we're in. Even if, and of course, from the movies, right? Everybody starts in the mailroom. Even if you
Right.
were an intern in the mailroom, right? If we
Right.
want to put it that way. Um, there is a way in which you can show up to inspire the best from the people around you,
Mhm.
right? I'm not saying you're responsible for them, so don't,
Yeah.
let's not get that confused. We're never responsible for anyone else, but we're responsible for the energy we bring into that relationship and the impact that energy has.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. Wow. And you know what? So that shows that we are in a place where we can make an impact at any level, any place that we are in our world, we can make an impact. So this is kind of cool because I guess you can. My next question is like, how do you spot a leader? So, to grow your company. So I guess it depends on when you're watching. Do you know what I mean? Um, in what capacity we're in. But so when you're looking, because I mean there are all different types of people who are watching this, right? People who
Yes.
would love to be leaders, people who are working and thinking about, I want to be able to do something bigger, or people that are running companies already.
Yeah.
How do you typically spot someone? I guess in the working world, in the the real world realm, right? How do you spot a leader? And if you're trying to grow your company, what qualities do you look for in leaders that will help you decide, those are some people that I could join forces with and, keep rolling and grow?
Yeah. I think, again, just based on my definition of
Yeah.
leadership, someone who inspires the best from themselves and others toward a common goal. I think for one, of course, do they buy into that common goal, right? Because they may be a leader,
Right.
but their commitment may not be to helping you go or get or elevate to where you're trying to go with your organization. And that's
Yeah.
perfectly fine, right? There is a, how to say, a horse for every race or whatever the case is,
Right.
or a race for every,
Yeah.
however that works. So I think it really, it calls for and requires some level of clarity as, let's say, business owners or department managers, CEOs, to distinguish what it is that we're trying to create, right? Because once you have that level of clarity about what you're trying to create, where you're trying to go, the impact you're trying to have, what you can be counted on for, what's missing starts to show itself. What will help you accelerate
Mm,
and get there will start to show itself, right? But you don't have that clarity unless you understand what you're trying to create. Where are we
mm,
trying to go with this? Like, what do
yeah.
I want to be? You can't be all things to all people. And I think the one mistake that a lot of us make is that we're trying to be all things to all people. you know we just can't, because even when you're focused and you know exactly who you're speaking to, even within that small group, you can't be all things to all people. So be
Mm,
okay with what you can be counted on for, and then decide who else can help you, live into that. So I don't know if that's like directly
yeah.
with an answer, but
it, it's interesting though, because again, it almost seems like those. My next question is like, what are the things that hold people back? And so it may be lack of vision, lack of clarity. Things that as a leader, what may hold you back is that you may have the vision, but not be able to articulate the vision. And then
yeah.
also having people that want to, I guess, enroll themselves in your vision and be a part of it. You know,
Yeah. I mean, honestly, sometimes there are going to be people that you didn't even know you were looking for anybody.
right?
But there's something about the energy they bring, maybe even the vision they bring, that combined with yours kind of just next leveled it for you. Like
Right.
sometimes that just happens. Like you can see their energy contributing to your intention,
Yeah.
right? And I
Absolutely.
think there's a lot to that. Um, I'm not saying that, it's like trust your gut is the ultimate, but there's something about that, about when someone leaves you feeling more inspired and capable than before the interaction.
Yeah.
What I just said about is what you're doing, saying, about to do, going to create commitment or destroy it. And sometimes you're going to run into people that just have you almost double down on commitment.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I had a conversation with someone who was referred to me through someone the other day. We had a conversation. I got off the phone and I was like, she just completely stretched my vision. Oh my goodness. I was like, I want to take on the world right now. And
Yeah.
that was, I don't have experiences like that very often. Normally, when I'm talking to people, I'm stretching their vision. I'm like, this is where we're going. This is what it's going to be like. It's going to be fantastic. And I got off the phone totally inspired. So I
Yeah.
could see that.
I
could
think
definitely see that.
it's funny because, you know how much time is spent on, effective communication as a leader, storytelling, how to be a good storyteller.
Yeah.
Okay, come on, folks. The only reason that that matters is because we want to be able to engage people and enroll
Yes.
them in our vision.
Yes.
So when you meet someone who actually re-engages and re-enrolls you in your own vision, you're like, that's it. Let's do
Yeah.
this.
You
Yeah.
know it. There's like there's something special. It's exactly what you said. But a lot of times you deal with people that are have you had this experience, and I'm sure you probably have, leaders that seem to be more concerned with the bottom line, or like the financial side of things, of like what's the dollars and cents part of it, more than their people. And so how do you navigate that and maybe get them to, I guess, see that, and then also transition?
Yeah. It's funny because leadership is, can be completely separate from the management, side
Right.
of the house, right? Because let's face it, fiscal management, knowing your numbers. It's funny, I just got off a call with my coach talking about knowing my numbers,
Hmm.
and we need to have that managed. So you want that, right? You
Right.
need those tactical things taken care of. But again, in order to be a leader, that leader needs to be able to inspire the best from themselves and others towards whatever that end is they're responsible for trying to create. So what is that? So if this is the leader who is responsible for getting, X number of widgets out every week, what's required to inspire the team to get there,
Hmm.
right? If you're not thinking of it that way, if you're leaving a wake of bodies in your path, you are simply not a leader. You may be a manager, you may be a supervisor, you may have a title, you may be, at the C level, but you're not a leader, and everyone knows that,
Mm.
right? You are showing up in a very limited capacity. Where on the other hand, if your set of concerns expands just a little bit, right? Just enough to really start to hone in on how can I elevate what they're doing, their interests, their buy-in, right? To move this ship with me,
Right.
it's an entirely different experience. Same set of concerns in that you still got to manage those numbers. You still got to produce the widgets, right? You still got
Right.
to drop the expenses or whatever it is that call is that you're answering. But it's just very different than thinking that you're doing it alone and it's me against them. It is not you against them.
Hmm.
It's you with them. And
We.
so now what do you do with it?
Yeah. Do you find that those leaders that are, you mentioned something that I thought was just so key. It's, you said a lot of leaders are long on ideas and short on execution. And
Okay.
so I guess that's that same piece of being able to figure out how to get your people to execute, you and your people to execute on a higher level.
You don't want your people to execute you. But yeah,
Right, right. No.
I love that so much though, because that was like perfect.
It's
No,
funny.
that's so perfect. But yeah, I think the thing about ideas, ideation, people say I'm a visionary, I'm a big picture thinker. It's like, let's face it, most of us are. We have fun dreaming big,
Yeah.
right? And imagining what could be. A lot of us do. So that's not an uncommon trait. What we need to do then, of course, is be able to translate that into actual tactics and plans and strategies that are going to
Yes.
move us
Yes.
towards it. But bridging that gap between the idea and the execution really is going to be about enrolling people in the idea, right? So who do you need to enroll in that idea? Who needs to buy in?
Hmm.
And what's in it for them?
Oh, yes.
You know,
Yes.
what does this mean for them? What can they get behind and how? And I feel like that is where just really the execution often fizzles because, well, for one, we might not have the buy-in, right, from the
Mhm.
folks we actually depend on for the execution. But the other side of that is we have a wonky relationship with failure and setbacks and disappointment. So the moment that something doesn't look the way we expected in that rosy dream,
Yeah.
we start to pull back.
It's done.
Well,
That's it.
maybe I wasn't supposed to be doing this. Maybe it's
Right.
not such a good idea after all. But the reality is nothing has gone wrong. You're just still in the doing part. It's not done.
Right.
Right. So keep on doing. So I think that, behind the execution is the willingness to be with the waiting, the setbacks, the uncertainty with no loss of enthusiasm for the dream and the vision.
That is so true. Just having the big belief and the excitement and the drive for it, even when there's setbacks, even when there's challenges,
Yes.
And
Yeah.
this is interesting because this is where I was going to ask you about the imposter syndrome, because I feel like a lot of times people will have those long ideas, short on execution, the failures, the setbacks happen, which happens all the time. It's just a part of the process. And I think sometimes, and this is, I mean, I guess from my experience, I can be pretty honest. I've had that imposter syndrome of like, I mean, am I supposed to be here? Should I really be leading? I mean, I've had some people who tell me you're not a leader. You're a great teacher, not a good leader. And I was like, okay, I need to work on myself. Very, very honest feedback. But I've really worked on being a better example, being a better leader. I'm kind of curious as far as like the imposter syndrome. How do people overcome this? Like, how do you, and I'm sure as a coach, you deal with this a lot, leaders in positions that have risen quickly or are trying to rise. How do you deal with it? How do you get past it and thrive?
Yeah, it's funny because, as you say that, I was thinking back and I was like, have I ever had a client, man or woman, who has not mentioned or alluded to that they have imposter syndrome? And frankly, I don't believe I have, because I think, especially now, it's the conversation is so, um, you know, prevalent. It's kind of all over the place around
Yeah,
imposter syndrome.
yeah.
Um, that we're now starting to use it just to reference any level of self-doubt, from where I'm
Mm,
sitting, right?
yeah.
Imposter syndrome, it's kind of like taking self-doubt and putting it on steroids. So it's
Mm,
a crippling self-doubt that even cancels out your actual accomplishments. Like, it doesn't matter that you've already done it and already have the role and already, the opportunity, already have the success behind you. Um, there's this belief that you just happened upon it. It was luck and you didn't deserve it. Right. And that once
mm,
everybody realizes, that you don't know what you're talking about, they're going to take it all away. Right. Like waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like
oh
it's
yeah.
a real, it's a very gripping and all consuming experience. Now, that said, it might not show up that way for most people, hopefully not, but for a lot of us it does show up in that we are questioning our ability, like, should I even be here?
Right.
Am I going to goof this up? Cuz and frankly, one thing I attribute that to, and there's a lot wrapped up in there, right? So I don't want to oversimplify it.
Yeah.
One perspective I would offer is that sometimes our feeling of being imposters is because we think we're supposed to be doing it like someone else. So, of course, if you are trying to be someone else,
Right.
you're going to feel like an imposter. So, even the person who said to you, you're a good teacher, but you're not a good leader,
Hmm.
it's very possible that that feedback was coming from, there's this one leader or boss they had
Right.
and they behaved this way. And so in my mind, that's what a leader is.
Yeah.
Right. And we don't understand the disservice that there is when we think that that is all that the leader is, or that's the only way a leader is. Because what it does is it puts us in this position to try to pretend. Right. And that pretense not only eats up our cognitive brilliance, right? Our ability to show up fully, because we can only show up in the ways we think mimic that vision of leadership or that other leader, instead of starting from the brilliance that you already have, that you already bring, and then from there deciding what other competencies you want to develop. See, I really think that it has something to do with us using this automatic yardstick that already starts out suggesting we're not enough. Because when we're
Mhm.
trying to be like someone else, then by definition, that's because we're not enough. And the world is telling us all the time we're not enough of one thing or too much of something else.
Right.
Right. So we're always, that yardstick is, we're never measuring up. Any way you look at it, we're never measuring up. So just what I want to offer is that the self-doubt is supposed to be there. It's part of being up to big things and playing in big pools. And that's all right. Right? It's
Good.
supposed to be there.
Oh, good.
Yeah, nothing has gone wrong. It's supposed to be there. It's always going to be on the
Yeah.
menu. But what you get to do is not order it every time. It's always going to be there. And you can decide not to let that be what's completely consuming you. Right?
Yeah.
Let it be on the table. You just don't got to eat the whole thing. It's all right. but really, self-doubt is supposed to be there. So don't read any more into it than you need to. It doesn't mean stop. It doesn't mean you can't do this. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It doesn't mean you're going to fail. It doesn't mean any of those things. But even if you do fail, right? I think the more important takeaway here is, do you have your own back, so that even if you do fail, it is just information about what didn't work that then fuels what might work next, as
Mhm.
opposed to, again, that wonky relationship I say we have with failure and disappointment, as opposed to
Yeah.
turning it into a death sentence for our self-esteem.
Yeah. That turns into that cascade of, oh
Yeah.
no, I don't belong here. This is yeah, that's so huge. I mean, taking things more of face value and course correcting, being able to course correct quickly versus turning it into an emotional spiral. And I, over the years, I told you I've been in business for 15 years, and I have seen times where I took one thing and it leveled me for a couple of days, and then I got back up and I went, okay. And then over time, so much of what I'm personally, I feel like this is my own personal coaching session, so I know all of you are watching, but this is helping me, and this is gonna, and I hope that it's helping you. And I know that for those of us that are going after a dream of some kind, small, big, medium, doesn't matter, but when you're going after something, you're in good company. You know what I mean? You're in the company of people who are striving to get better, who are going to, have the ups and downs of life, have the ups and downs of, taking a chance and doing
Yeah.
something bigger with your life. It's not easy. And I think a lot of times people sometimes will shy away from taking some of those chances because of the things that you might see out there, or the idea that you may fail, or you may skin your knee, or you may, it's not going to be easy. And so, I applaud people that will take the steps, but coaches like Asya are amazing to be able to help you mentally get through stuff that I took so many years to be able to work through, and coaches that told me stuff and I didn't quite listen. As I'm listening to what she's sharing with all of us, it would have taken years off of my timetable. Do you know what I mean? To success. And that's what having a great coach, that's how it makes a massive impact. So I'm sure that you have just, I'm sure that you have made such a huge difference in so many people's lives because of the kind of information that you're sharing, and the way that you're able to articulate it is just phenomenal.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for that. And I got to tell you, this is why I always have a coach, at least one, and I will always have a coach, because I am amazing at helping other people see their thinking,
Yeah.
right? And then decide what might be better thinking to fuel what's next, and fuel what they're doing, where they're going, what they want to create, right? But even excellent coaches are not great at catching their own thinking. And the reason is that emotion gets swirled up in there. Like I don't have that emotion, for my clients. What I see is the possibility, and like I already see where they're going,
Yeah.
right? Because there's nothing in the way for me. I
Yeah.
could just see the pure potential. I'm like, oh, you're already done. You're already there. Right. And I think that is the power. And that's why I continue to work with a coach and will always continue. That's why the people who are at the top of their game, whatever industry they're in, are always working with an excellent coach because it matters, right? How we think matters. And where else do we get to think about how we think in a non-judgmental, safe way and be like, okay, that's not how I want to be thinking. That's
Yeah.
not helping the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just makes such an impact. It makes such a difference having somebody who's not emotionally attached to you and your bag of challenges, to help you get through them so that you can think a little bit more clearly, get an objective reality view of what's going on in your life to be able to take the next step. So it's just so valuable, so valuable. Okay, I want to ask you a couple of quick fun questions. And then
Sure.
I would really like for you to just let everybody know how they can hop onto your leadership series. And I was just blown away. So these are kind of silly questions, but I just like this or that because they kind of keep things light. So, smartphone or tablet?
Smartphone.
Okay. Attend a party or host a party?
Attend.
Okay. City or countryside?
Countryside. Can I say
Okay.
seaside?
You can say both. You can say both.
Okay.
Sneakers or dress shoes?
Ooh, sneakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After the pandemic, I put on a pair of heels. I was like, okay, so no.
Yeah, we got to rethink this. Rethink.
It was like a year and a half before I put on a set of heels, and I was like, I wore these before? Why?
What was I thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good one. Well, salad or sandwich? Silly.
Oh, salad, because I love bread, but it doesn't love me back.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you were talking about the things that are on the menu and that you don't have to eat them. I was like, yeah, the bread that I had at lunch yesterday that I was
Yeah.
like, no, you put that
Yeah.
over here. Cooking or being cooked for?
Oh, they're both good. But, my husband does almost all the cooking, and I love being cooked for. I love being cooked for. So
I love it. I'm with you. I'm with you. And then patterned or plain?
Oh, plain. It's more versatile.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
100%. My closet is all, very rarely do I see a lot of prints in my closet. Some, but
Yeah, I get to layer them.
yeah, absolutely. So, okay. So tell everybody how they can connect with you, how they can see your series. I love your series. So I want to.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so to make sure you don't miss any part of the leadership series, find me on LinkedIn. That's where I'm active pretty much all day, every day. You see me in there commenting and sharing my musings, but you also get notifications for my Bridgewell Leadership Series on LinkedIn. But here's something fun I want to share with you guys. I'm doing this for the first time. It might be the last time, but I'm doing an absolutely free 5-day strategic leadership boot camp. So you can go to my website to sign up. It's bridgewellpro.com. And I actually created a specific, link to take you right to the registration page. It's strategicleadershipbootcamp.com. So strategicleadershipbootcamp.com. Get over there, get registered. It's coming up June 27th to July 1st. And again, if you happen to be listening to this afterwards, there will probably be a resource there for you and redirecting you to whatever next event I have coming up. So I am so excited to hopefully, fill the virtual room with, folks who want to become even more strategic.
Absolutely. I honestly, Asya, I've enjoyed your content. I enjoyed meeting you. I really felt like, very connected as you were talking that day when I saw you speaking at USC. I just felt like this is a woman that I have to get to know. I really feel like there's an impact that she's made on me. I know you made an impact on other people in the room, and I see you just doing incredible things and really just leading and inspiring so many people out there. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you for all the growth, all the time and effort that you have put in to improving yourself. It just makes such a difference to the people that are coming behind you. So I'm blown away, and I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I
Absolutely.
love being here. Thank you for letting me be here with you and just being in this conversation. It's always fun talking to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, everyone, be inspired. Make sure that you find Asia Bribiesca-Hedin. Go to Bridgewell LLC Professional Services.
Yeah,
Right?
you can go to bridgewellpro.com. That's the
BridgewellPro.com.
Yeah,
Okay.
find me at bridgewellpro.com or again on LinkedIn. Feel free to send me a connection invite. I will accept. Let me know you saw me on the show.
Absolutely. All right. Well, be inspired, everybody. Take care. Have a great